It's May Day, an international holiday, and we bring you tonight the special edition of the Majority Caucus. Tonight we're focusing on labor issues, labor relations, discussions, and then all that has happened under the Better Ghana agenda. And we are discussing May Day under a Better Ghana. Tonight we have two young men in the studios to help us in the deliberations. We have Wanda Madilo, who is a member of the government communication team and a former president of the National Union of Ghana Students. And then we also have Peter Kweku Bamfo, who is a seasoned journalist. And viewers will be seeing more of Peter in coming weeks, and he'll be very, very, very much involved and deeply involved and supportive in the production of the program. And then you'll be seeing more of Peter in coming days. He has a lot to offer under the Better Ghana agenda. Straight on, we are discussing May Day. And then for our viewers, the May Day, which is also known as the International Workers' Day, is a celebration of international labor movement and left-wing movements. And when you say left-wing, we are talking about socialist movements and then the movements that believe in the social democratic ideals in political ideology. And it commonly sees organized street demonstrations and marches by working people and their labor unions throughout most of the world. And May 1 is a national holiday in more than 80 countries. So as we speak now, there are more than 80 countries that are celebrating the International Labor Day, which is the May 1. And then just another addition to the history. International Workers' Day is in the commemoration of the 1886 May Market Massacre in Chicago, which occurred after an unknown person threw a dynamite bomb at police as they dispersed an assembly gathering during a general strike for the 8-hour workday. And then the 8-hour workday in the 18th century, because of the capitalism and then the suffering that the people were inflicted with the capitalist investors. Most of the workers worked for more than 12 hours a day. There were many injuries, many deaths. So out of that, the people came together to demand that there should be a reduction in the work day, which is an 8-hour work day. There were a lot of pushings from the socialist organizations and then the social democratic movements. And today, it is accepted worldwide as an international rest day for organized workers in commemoration of the 1886 Haymarket Massacre. And His Excellency the President was in Sunyani today at the Sunyani Sports Stadium, exactly where he was elected as the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress to contest for a second term in office, which is looking very, very, very promising for the good people of Ghana. He addressed workers and organized labor at the Sunyani Sports Stadium. Let's take a short clip of what exactly His Excellency President John Evans Atta Mills said, and then when we come back, the discussion begins.
We also have a 3-tier pension scheme, which for the first time accommodates the needs of those in the informal sector under the National Pension Act of 2008. This is supposed to take care of pensions and also to provide enhanced retirement benefits and security when workers decide to retire. In 2009, we set up the National Pensions Regulatory Authority, which is to oversee the organization and management of registered pensions. The work has been done, and very soon these pensions will be in operation. I know that as President, it is my responsibility, but I want to assure you of my determination and with the help of Almighty God to ensure that our elections are free, fair, and transparent. The law will be no respecter of status. It will deal with everybody alike and will make sure that those who decide to break the law are indeed made to face the full rigors of the law. I'm not surprised that fellow workers have raised this issue, because given the contributions that they have made, given the success that they have helped us to chalk, I know that they will not allow anybody to turn our peaceful country into a country of anarchy.
His Excellency the President says he's not going to allow anybody to turn this country, a peaceful country like Ghana, into a country of anarchy. Let's begin on that note. Yeah, Peter, you've heard the President loud and clear. Consistently, His Excellency the President has been on the path of peace. He's been preaching peace all over the world. He even took it to extent to the UN General Assembly, where he reiterated the point firmly that Ghana is ready for peaceful democratic elections. Is it the case that His Excellency the President is belaboring the point?
Thank you very much, Elolo. Let me first of all say special happy Workers' Day to our cherished Ghanaian workers who have on constant basis ensure that there is food on our table, particularly our farmers, those who have ensured that the day-to-day running of this country is in good condition. Now, back to your point, Elolo, if you have listened consistently to the President, this is not the first time he's made such a remark. I think that it's very important, particularly considering where he was speaking, the particular forum he was speaking at, the fact that workers of this country need that kind of atmosphere to operate. Particularly also that you need to ensure that businesses that are coming into the system have that kind of conduciveness, that kind of atmosphere to be able to ensure that the monies that they're going to be putting in our economy will not go waste. I think that it's very important that at every point in time, the President is able to make such a commitment. That way, we'll be able to ensure that, yes, we have promised our people jobs. We have promised to ensure that we're able to provide them an ends meet. How do you do this when you do not have peace in the system? How do you do this when you wake up every now and then and people are beating war drums? How do you do this when the very efforts that you are making to ensure that the livelihoods of persons in our country is bettered, is thwarted at every point in time? I think that this is only a confirmation of the kind of president that we have. I have listened to people, and particularly one man of God somewhere who claims that the president should come out and denounce that name that has been put upon him. I think I would want to state it on record that the president at no point in time never went to state anywhere that he is the king of peace. It is through his actions. You are a Bible-believing person, so I'm sure you know what I'm trying to say over here. So, yes, it is very important. This year is a very crucial year in our democratic dispensation, and I'm happy that at every point in time, the president always seizes that opportunity to ensure that, yes, he tells his people that we need peace to continue with our better Ghana agendas.
And even that, I mean, in our traditional settings, our chiefs, our queen mothers, some of them were called Osajifo, Kasaprekun. They make all kinds of appellations, and I've heard that over and over again before the chief speaks. Yes. You have a praise singer move ahead of the chief to call the chief all kinds of names and all kinds of praise singing. So if it was one of the regional House of Chiefs, I think it's the Brong Half Regional House of Chiefs, that actually conferred the title of Anasujemi Hini on His Excellency the President. And so I don't see how those who are criticizing the peaceful nature of the president will conveniently forgo or ignore or gloss over what happens right in their backyard, and then want to pick on his
rightly so, Elolo. That's why I was telling you that it is very important that you look at the person that you're dealing with. This is a man that you will insult him left, right, center, and yet he will let you go free. It is not the case of history where we've had presidents come in and then at the least provocation, we've had some of them incarcerated and all of that. This is an entirely different situation altogether. And like I said, I am happy, because you can't have a system where I was telling a colleague of mine, about these comments that have been made regarding this biometric registration and the beating of guns and airways and all of that. how do you expect that such a statement will boost investor confidence? It is not going to be. Exactly. You understand? So the leader of the country should be able to come out and tell the people of this country that, look, in spite of all these war drums, he is going to strengthen the institutions of state to be able to deal ruthlessly with persons of this nature who go to the extent of trying to disturb the peace that we have enjoyed and continue to enjoy in this country. So it's I want to, on this platform, congratulate His Excellency the President, that he and also urge him that when he gets such opportunities, he should continue like he has always done to seize the moment and tell our people that peace is a prerequisite for any development at all that we're all clamoring for in this country.
Wonder how would you describe the commitment of the Ghanaian worker towards building a better Ghana?
Well, again, let me also use the opportunity to tell our viewers that we salute them for the hard work they've been doing, their commitment to the growth of this country. I mean, over the years, we have not had any other opportunity to thank them and to extend our gratitude to them for what they have done over the period. The people who are in the hinterland, the farmers, the teachers, the policemen who are shot every now and then when they go for duty, the security men, and the people who make things go, and public servants, I mean civil servants, and all the people that matter in dealing with our socio-economic issues. I think that is about time we show gratitude. That is why I was very excited when the president addressed them and said that he is very marveled at the level of maturity they've shown in our times of difficulty, especially during the implementation of the single spine. You'll recall that a few organizations, took to the street. We've seen fishermen, we've seen farmers, we've seen we've seen pharmacists, we've seen doctors, we've seen all kinds of rigmarole of tactics all over the place about how labor issues are handled. But you see, we have a president who is so confident and so patient that things will be done, and if they must be done, they will be done in the right manner, in the right frame, and then done in the public good. I mean, to represent the Ghanaian, expectation of what is supposed to be done. Okay. Yeah. So for me, I think that it so far so good.
Yeah, wonder. To continue, can you give us some comparisons between how the fortunes of Ghanaian workers has increased since 2009?
Yes, I can't do that with all gladness, especially when the figures are looking good. You will expect that, of course, we should put that out. Truth be told, before 2009, when we took over, the whole of 2008, throughout the period of the past government and all that, we have seen a lot of challenges with salary administration. We have seen a lot of issues with labor issues. We've seen a lot of disgruntled issues. A lot of people who are getting disgruntled and worried over the turn of events with labor, because you've seen even a time when we've had teachers go on strike for almost a year. Schools were virtually closed down and all that. And so we've seen the impact of some of those labor issues on the economy. And that's why when our president promised building a strong economy and all that, one of the cardinal points is to look at the first interest, which is the worker, the one who goes to the office every morning, comes back, those working in the afternoon, those working in the evenings and all that. Those are the people that we have focused on, and that's why we took pains to put together the single spine salary structure, which the previous government have been running away from me. They passed it virtually few hours to leave in office, and I didn't really,
strange,
it was strange, very strange, of course, under very strange circumstances. President before I sent his signature to that was okay. We didn't have a problem with that. We knew that we had a challenge. The challenge was that looking at our GDP at the time and how much income inflow we were able to make, we had a difficulty, and the difficulty was that if minimum wage, which was an all-time low of 2.4 at the time, should be increased to say 4.48. As we speak right now, it's at 4.48. The impact is going to be almost double. And so what was going to happen was that if you were also going to take people from the ordinary salary administration structure that they have before, if you're going to take them to the single spine, what we're going to see was almost a triple of those figures going up. And at the time, we had only about 2.4 of expenditure on wages and salary. I mean,
2.4
billion. I'm talking about billion now. I get scared when I mention these figures. 2.4 billion. Today, as we speak, it's over 5 billion.
Yeah.
And we still have people
that is more than 100% increase.
Over 100% increase. And you should see what that should do to an economy. But you see...
But yes, your critics say that the workers, the fortune of workers hasn't changed. You mentioned that in 2008, minimum wage was 2.4 Ghana cedis. Today, it is 4.48 Ghana cedis. Yet your critics say that nothing has changed in the life of the worker.
Forget about the MPP. I want to tell you something. Election 2012 is about competition of capacity of delivery.
Okay.
It's not
competition of capacity of delivery. Okay.
It is not about ideas. I mean, vague ideas, because anybody can go out there and say, I have an idea. Whether it's realistic or not is another thing.
I can give you $1 billion for free.
Yes, like the MPP told us that they were, by the time they were leaving, they'll be leaving office, they would have put together a 50 billion investment fund. How did that happen? Did that happen? No, it didn't happen. It was just one of those vague ideas that people could just push around. It is not about just plans on paper. No. I mean, we've seen a lot of those plans go to rust. I mean, they're lying on shelves and nothing has happened. It is not about just saying anything and getting away, like saying that you're going to do a free school, SHS and all that. Before
without knowing how much.
Before we're told it's going to be a university thing, now it's going down. And we're told that it's not going to be secondary school. Whether it's only going to be for the public schools too, we still don't know. And the figures are still not coming out. It is no surprise to see Dr. Okompa Ahomfe, which is one of the founding fathers of the Dankwa Institute, say that for him, and I want to read a paragraph for you in one of his publications, which was, I think, an indictment on Nana Addo. I think Nana Addo should respond to this, is that in one paragraph, he said, then also in terms of industrial policy, which is one of the reasons why we're here today, the MPP presidential candidate failed woefully to articulate precisely how he intended to organically modernize the industry.
Okay.
I mean, talking about that, for me, I think that
is
was
from the Dankwa Institute.
Yeah, that's from Dankwa Institute. This man is called Dr. Okompa Ahomfe. You can see he has a PhD and he does a lot of work for the MPP. Today, he's telling us that he is amazed. He's worried because Nana Addo has not been able to tell him how he will put together the industrial policy. And for me, that is key to what we're discussing today, because we're talking about jobs. We're talking about real jobs. I'm not talking about vague jobs that you have today and tomorrow they are gone. That's why when we put out our figures of how much jobs we have created, like Youth in Agreed, over 80,000 jobs have been created. Like Less Debt, 10,000 jobs have been created. Youth in Road Maintenance, Oil and Gas, you have 3,500. Eco Brigade, you have 10,000. And over, you have the Takoradi Port, you have the National Forest Plantation Program, you have the Police Service. I mean, can you imagine that in 3 years?
And you are quoting from the Green Book.
I'm quoting from the Green Book.
Okay,
yes.
The overview of the Better Ghana agenda.
Can you imagine that in 3 years, just in 3 years of governance, we have been able to expand the police force by 3,000 officers? That's not a joke. Yeah. People shouldn't take that as one of those promises that we couldn't deliver. We have delivered, and we have taken this at a broader perspective. And at the most government is, I'm so proud of it, because one of the things they are doing is that most of the strategies that they are doing, they are not mid-term strategies. They are not things that
they are long-term.
Yeah, they are long-term. I mean, for instance, you have plans. If you look at the Ghana Shared Growth and Development Agenda document, for instance, you will see that some of the plans outlive the president's tenure.
That is what every visionary leader should do.
I mean, in our history, very few leaders have been able to put that together, and that's why I applaud him. And so, for me, the role of the worker and how much they get at the end of the day, how much they access by way of financial rewards, and then even accommodation for our working class, for me is very critical. That's why I think that now that we have signed on to the Shelter Afrique program, where we can be able to provide accommodation and all that, behind the backdrop of what has happened with the STS and all that, I think that it's right. It's still in the right direction. We still have to take this whole thing from the level of just giving the money and then going to the level of providing accommodation, like happened in the past. If you go to Tema, for instance, most of the workers, vehicle workers, it's a test case where it's vehicle workers and Tema Textiles and all those companies. Back in the days, they had accommodation for their staff, and then they had buses that could take them to and fro and all that. Yes, we still have that happening today. For instance, Ghana Revenue Authority, I still see them at dawn as early as 4:30. They go around picking their staff to work and all that. I think this is one of the most prudent way of managing our economy, managing the people that runs the economy, managing the people that are linked to the development of the economy. And I think that the president is doing on the whole excellent, is good, and I think that our opponents should come to terms with it. It is not about winning an election and that's the end. You also have to look at the entire interest of the country, the entire interest of the populace, the people you want to lead. How healthy are they? That's why when even the figures on life expectancy went up, I was very excited, because at the end of the day, it affects a large chunk of our people. And these people are the working class. You and I, who today have finished school and just have jobs, and we're doing, and many others who are looking for job, who wants to get job. I think that with the incoming of the CDB loan and the others, I think that Ghana is on a very good footing, and people should be willing and ready to applaud the president, at least in our quietness. Pray for him to leave this agenda and live it well.
Yeah, Peter, with the figures that Wanda has mentioned about jobs that have been created, the movement of the minimum wage from 2.4 Ghana cedis to over 4.48 Ghana cedis, over 100% increase. And you list this thing into how it reflects in the workers. Teachers, they've moved on. Health workers, they've moved on. People who work in the various institutions. I mean, before all of us, the president's even procuring equipment, both for the military, paramilitary organization, the health sector, and all these things. But how come your critics in the MPP keep saying that they don't see anything happening in Ghana?
Hello. In 2001, when President Kufuor took over office as a leader of this country, I quite remember very well. I used to run errands around Malang, Bawe, thereabouts, and this was one of the centers that was created to register persons who were unemployed. And I can recount the number of times that I went there and then see the confusion of persons in queue who had lined up to just register. The blows others received. It wasn't that just after the registration you were giving your card to enter any job at all that you wanted.
It was a database that
database they were collecting. This database was collected, and for several years we never heard anything about it. I've got a few friends of mine who to date tell me that, look, they went to register and yet nothing was heard of it. And they even went ahead to tell me that even if they had written a letter of application to any company at all that they wanted to, they were sure that by now they would have been called for at least an interview or anything of its sort. Yet they were never called for any interview, nothing of that sort. You understand? I don't think that has been the situation under this government, which I must commend the government so much about. Now, the bit about the minimum wage and then its increase from 2.4 to 4.48% as we speak, I think is very remarkable. Very remarkable in the sense that, look, you do not just increase wages of workers. It is very important that when you are able to increase the wage, the little monies that they are able to get, you should be able to put in place strategies that will ensure that, look, the monies that you get, they're able to spend it, and then at the end of the month, they will still have something left for them to be able to carry out any project at all that they want. They can go to the market. Since this government came into office, the inflation that was skyrocketing at whatever percentage at all that, to date, we have the inflation the longest ever, in the lowest and longest
over
ever.
22 months.
That over 22 months, which is very much unprecedented. Till date, when you use that term, the opposition will never want you to use that term. But I think that we should commend President Mills and what he is doing.
Okay, that was Peter Bamfo. That we need to commend His Excellency President Mills for what he's doing under the Better Ghana agenda. The discussion is on May Day in a Better Ghana. Peter was trying to explain to us how the MPP is trying to throw dust into our eyes and then to accuse people wrongly, the government wrongly for what has been done. Can you take us through how we've moved on, how we have come from here, from 2008?
Yes, in fact, I'll read some few things for you. And I'm taking this from President Kufuor's State of the Nation's address in 2008. And I'll just read the paragraph. And then that would defeat the argument that they left a very strong economy and that if we had taken from where they have left it off, we would have been better off. I think that there's been some misconception out there. In one paragraph, it says, Mr. Speaker, the stagnation in the economy caused by a huge backlog of unemployment, which the recovery of the economy is gradually resolving, is getting worse. In the formal sector, there's a steady growth in employment generation. In 2008, 120,000 jobs were created, while 200,000 jobs were created in 2007. some youth take up jobs in informal sector which go unrecorded and blah, blah, blah to that. You will observe that he has admitted that in 2008, just when he's leaving office, his last State of the Nation's address, he has admitted that there's stagnation in the economy. Then you go on, you will realize in their So Far So Good publication.
Which one? The 4 year of positive change?
Yes.
The book that has the monkey and then the statues, the deer hunting and all that.
Thank you very much.
The achievement?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
The part 2, you know, they had part 1 and part 2. The part 2 of that, which is the positive change, So Far So Good, chapter 5, pages 45 and 46. You will observe that they told this country in Parliament that out of the 943,000 youth that registered, you know, when they were doing the unemployment, you know, unemployed youth registration, 943,212 people registered. And then they claim that they have created jobs. Let me go to some of the jobs that they have created and let Ghanaians see whether those jobs were actually befitting for a country or for a political party that believes in capitalism, that believes in decent jobs, that believes that the people must have the right figures. They said that 9,300 jobs have been 9,300 have been trained to do batik, tie and dye, dressmaking, hairdressing, via vocational and whatever. Then they say 5,000 trainees have so far gone through grass cutter, snail rearing, and leafy vegetable farming. Then they said 2,000 currently in bee and rabbit farming. Those are the kind of jobs that were created. Then they talked about the fact that training of street youth program, especially for female porters in youth training institutions underway. And you know what they mean by that?
Kayaye. Okay.
You see why we have had so much of
so they were actually training people.
I mean, they were actually putting people out there. This is a government, this is a party that believes in capitalism, that believes that people must have decent jobs, that believes that people must have decent right to living and all that. At the end of the day, these are the kind of jobs that were created.
Okay,
so sometimes when they start to argue the fact that we are not doing anything, sometimes I feel very pity. I feel pity. I feel that sort of pittiness comes on me over their claims.
Let's take another clip of His Excellency the President's address in the Sunyani Sports Stadium today, and the discussion continues.
If you look at our manifesto, the creation of jobs is one of the 4 pillars supporting our Better Ghana agenda. We also recognize that the private sector should be the engine of growth. I'll be quick to admit that we have had some challenges, but one should also acknowledge what other methods or contributions we have made. Indeed, we recognize that there is a need to continue to produce a kind of atmosphere which will enable the private sector to create jobs. We have targeted certain areas, and indeed, our procurement of the Chinese loan of 3 billion is really targeted at sectors which will help us to create jobs for our people. I take the point that we must first think about Ghanaians. We must think about Ghanaian investors. And where we have a choice between a Ghanaian and a foreigner, we are not going to discourage foreigners, discriminate against anybody. But as president who has been elected by Ghanaians, I believe that the least that I can do is also to help them compete equally with the foreigners.
Peter, the president made a strong point there that he's not going to discriminate against anybody. But what he can do as the president of the nation is to help the local investors and then the Ghanaians, the indigenous Ghanaian businessmen come up to compete with the foreign ones. I believe that is one way of trying to say that he's going to create a good business.
I think also that if you look at what is going on so far, the kind of interventions that this government has put in place to ensure that businesses are able to thrive, businesses are able to operate. Let me just take you back. And he said that if you listen to the president carefully, he said this based on the cardinal principles upon which the NDC government decided to promise the people and come into office. Now, and this has to do with one of the thematic areas. It promised Ghanaians that it was going to ensure a strong economy for real jobs. Now, if you look at what the MPP said in 2000 when they were coming to power, when they were seeking the mandate of the people of this country to rule them, they said that they were going to create jobs for persons who are able and willing to work. At the end of the day, what did we see? Poverty was rather created for very abled persons, although they were willing to work. Now, it got so bad to the extent that when Ghana Telecom was being sold out to Vodafone, the workers there were made to understand that yes, when Vodafone comes on board, these are the packages that you're going to get. But at the end of the day, how many workers were asked to go home? That tells you the extent to which the situation got bad in 2008. Now, I think that the president has made a very interesting statement that we should all, or very interesting remark that we should all applaud. Okay. Now, if a blind man tells you that he's going to hit you with a stone, he tells you that he has his legs or his foot on something. The president has said that, look, there are certain areas that they are looking at, they are targeting, and I'm sure that he's referring to the 3 billion Chinese loan that we've been able to secure from the Chinese government.
Yeah.
Now, I would urge that persons like the Samia Wukus who go to address young upcoming graduates, future politicians, future leaders of this country, bankers and all of that, he will go and stand in front of them and tell them that, look, it is about time that you get ready, because very soon you are going to take position. And what does he mean? He's telling them to get ready, because once they have been able to unleash their violence on the people of this country, they can go from office to office, taking over whatever position that he's talking about. I will urge him and the likes of him who go to make such comments that when they get such opportunities, they should rather urge them to get ready, because these are very, very important landmarks that we are going to be witnessing very, very soon.
Into these
exactly, because if you look at the Western Corridor infrastructure project, which is coming up, you look at the Ghana Gas project, which is underway.
The Eastern Corridor.
These are huge projects and investments that this government is making. And if we're able to position ourselves well,
even SADA is a huge block.
You see, they make so much noise that SADA is a failure and all of that. But you see, it's very important that before you make such you make such criticism or you make such remarks, you take the pain and go and see what is happening there before you do so. They've talked about the Volta University, they've talked about the BA University and all of that.
Amazingly, some of them have not even been there. They don't even know where the place is located.
They've never been there. I heard one member of parliament from the MPP side say that, look, he went to pass the site, the so-called there, where the university is situated, and there was no signboard or directing people to the university site. So it tells you that the university is a failure. It's nothing like an university. How can people make such comments? So I think that it's very important. The local enterprise, the persons who are in the informal sector, like he rightly read, this is an aspect of what government has decided to do, and I think it's very important that we give the opportunities to such persons who decide to do their own things. It is very important that whatever help that government ought to give them, they are given to operate. And I'm happy that all these interventions are there to help the local enterprises to also grow.
Okay, let me take a press statement by the NDC before we go on the break. NDC congratulates workers. The National Democratic Congress, NDC, extends its warmest felicitations and congratulations to Ghanaian workers on the occasion of May Day. We join all Ghanaians and the world over to commend you for your hard work towards the socio-economic and political development, even in the face of challenges confronting your efforts. The NDC believes that your dedication, selflessness, and commitment to work has influenced the country's productivity and sustained the serene labor environment prevailing in the country. We wish to salute Ghanaian workers on this auspicious occasion of Workers' Day. The NDC, as a social democratic party, shares in the aspirations of the Ghanaian worker. It is the resolve of the NDC to see to the qualitative improvement of all workers of this country. Invariably, the efforts and sacrifices of the trade unions have been recognized by the NDC as it seeks to build a better Ghana. We wish to remind the workers of the bond of friendship between labor and progressive forces such as the NDC. We, NDC, shall continue to stand for workers' rights. Unlike the ideological foes of the working class who are, at the time in the nation's history, tried to disband the trade unionism in this country. That is the NPP in history. They actually tried to collapse the trade unions in Ghana. As allies, the statement continues, the NDC believes in collaboration, fair wages, and respect for workers' human rights and dignity. We urge all Ghanaians to use occasion to reflect on our commitment and contribution to the cause of labor and its ramifications on the country's development. Long live unionized labor, long live the Ghanaian worker, long live Ghana. Signed 30th April 2012 by Johnson Asiedu Nketia, NDC General. Let me take another short press statement. Payment of 2012 single spine salary increase may begin in May. That is by the GNA on April 25 from the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning. On Wednesday, announced that payment of the 2012 single spine salary of 18% will commence in May 2012. In addition, the 2012 salary arrears for April will be paid in July, while all other earlier payment schedules relating to the 2012 single spine remain the same. This was contained in a statement issued by the ministry and copied to the Ghana News Agency in Accra. It said, quote, owing to the rather short time span between completion of the 2012 single spine salary negotiation and the minimum period required for the Controller and Accountant General's Department to impute and process April salaries, it has not been possible to commence the payment of the 2012 base pay increase of 18% in April as originally scheduled. Consequently, the implementation of the 2012 single spine salary structure will be rescheduled. And it says, that is unquote, the ministry assured stakeholders that the new schedule will be strictly adhered to and any inconvenience caused is sincerely regretted. The ministry takes the opportunity to wish all workers a happy May Day celebrations in advance. The May Day is here, so happy May Day. Let me open the phone lines and allow our viewers also to be part of the discussion. The numbers to call now are 0302 211 701 or 0302 211 702. The phone lines are open. Yes, Wanda, before we pick our calls, if you want to add a few things.
Yeah, like I said earlier, election 2012 is a competition of capacity and delivery.
It's I have a first caller. Alhaji Karim. Hello, Alhaji. Yes, Alhaji.
Yeah, and I'm happy to see Peter Bambo today, this evening.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. And this is doing well.
Yeah.
After times, we don't even do campaign. We are winning. It's one touch.
Yeah, but we need to campaign, Alhaji.
I like Karim is telling you that's market on the wall.
Okay.
That's right, we're winning. We're not going to get around.
Okay.
Peter Bambo, say hi to Peter Bambo for me.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Alhaji. Let me pick Aziz from Wa. Hello, Aziz.
Wow. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Aziz.
This is Abdul Aziz Donla from Wa.
Okay, Aziz.
Oh, thank you very much. Mr. Felix, you people should just keep up the good work.
Okay.
You know, President Moss, he has just won in advance. Because looking at the way the man is protecting this nation, I think that's the way forward.
Okay.
You monitor the speech you gave today.
Okay.
This man was preaching peace. This is the kind of leaders that we want in nation Ghana. So all Ghanaians should just make sure to vote massively for this man come December 7th, so that he will continue with the good work that he's doing for us.
Okay.
You come to the north here and see the unprecedented work that President Moss has given to
Okay,
Ghanaians.
all right, okay.
What do you want again?
Okay, thank you very much, Abdul Aziz. Let me take Tahiru from Boku, sorry. Tahiru from Boku, hello.
Good evening, fellas.
Yeah, good evening, Tahiru.
Yeah, I'm grateful to meet you this evening.
Okay, Tahiru.
Yeah, I'm calling from Baku, and the only thing I have to say is it's because the NPP people don't want to, they don't want to see the unprecedented work of the president. And I'm asking them, even they have everybody in Baku here, which they can go through around Baku area, everywhere, even at Garu, you will see the differences.
Okay.
You finally see the differences of the president and the 8 years of we can't even compare the 8 years of President Kufuor and then the 3.5 years of President Moss.
Okay.
So
all right.
they should even compare the whole 8 years plus the 3 years, and it is unprecedented.
Okay, thank you very much, Tahiru from Boku. Let me pick Abdul Hamid from Wa.
Hello, good evening to you and your panelists.
Yeah, good evening, Hamid. Oh, we've lost Abdul Hamid. I'm sorry for that. Yes, Wanda.
Yes, so what I want all of us, including the MPP, to look at is to take some reality checks.
Okay.
Given the chance before, what did you do? What are you looking for to do that is new? 8 years in government.
Okay.
What have
And
you
there's
been
another
able to
caller
do?
from where? Hello, Matthew.
No, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Matthew. Your comments.
This is Matthew calling from Bolina.
Okay, Bolga. Okay.
Look, Ghana have not made a mistake vote Professor Menz to be our president.
Okay.
The kind of development that goes on these 3 years. Have you seen it before? I think Professor Menz should keep it.
Okay.
To keep developing this country for us. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Let me pick Abu Mahama from Damango.
Yes, Comrade Felix and my colleagues, panelists.
Okay.
This is Abu Mahama, another deputy regional youth organizer.
Oh, Abu, yeah, you're welcome to the show.
But today I watched our president and his excellence.
Okay.
He has doubled his excellency.
He has doubled the
That's
excellency.
a great leader.
Okay, so his excellency,
Yes.
excellency.
Yes, yes, excellency, excellency.
That's interesting,
You know,
Abu.
it is only a great leader that acknowledges what the General Secretary of TUC said.
Okay.
You know, his statement was strong,
Okay.
and President Mills was bold enough to acknowledge that we are making strides.
Okay. Okay.
There's
Okay.
a saying that, look, there's no nation that can be built in just 1 day or in 3 years.
Oh yes, of
The
course.
growth that we have in this country now, definitely, it is making progress,
Okay.
and that when NDC is given the next chance to rule this country, look, the what they call it, the inflation rate and everything will match.
Okay,
The
all right.
lower the inflation
Okay,
rate,
okay.
definitely the greater the growth of this country.
Okay, thank you so much, Abu. That's the Deputy Regional Youth Organizer of the Northern Region, Abu, joining us with his comments. Yeah, we have a few minutes more. Just wrap up. 1 minute, 1 minute for Peter, 1 minute for Wanda. Peter.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much. I thought Wanda was on the floor, so we were going to allow him
Okay.
to land here. I think that, once again, I would want to use this opportunity to wish all Ghanaian workers happy Workers' Day. And they should continue to have that faith that they have reposed in this government and President Mills. I think that he has a vision. The vision is that he wants to take this country to where we have never seen. And that is why, if you have noticed for some time now, there's been a consistent usage of the term unprecedented, and we are yet to get there. And I would want to say that Ghanaians should continue to keep faith with this government. Very soon, what we are all expecting will definitely come.
Okay.
And when it comes, we would all smile and say that we have never made a mistake at all, like one of the callers said, voting President Mills and the NDC back into government.
One of the things, even let me just read this back to you. One of the things that have impressed me about His Excellency President is that, you know, when we took over power and there was that problem with the payment, he went to organize labor to negotiate with them. Now, these are the problems we've had. So please just bear with us. Let's implement this thing over a period of between 3 to 5 years, and everybody will have whatever is due the president. Organized labor came into agreement with the president. They understood the situation and agreed that, okay, owing to the difficulties. And I think organized labor also needs to be very much congratulated for showing good faith to government and then to His Excellency the President.
And it comes back to the point that, look, if you are going to vote somebody into government, you need to know who you are going to vote into
There's
government.
that
That
trust.
person, the trust must be there.
Okay.
You understand? If consistently you've had promises broken, it tells you that, look, this is not a government that you can trust.
Okay,
and this is the
pick one
president who is never scared at all whenever any organized labor decides to go on strike.
Okay.
Because he knows how to get them back to work.
Okay, let me pick one. Yeah,
Let me inform Ghanaians not to be deceived by the several promises of the MPP. I mean, we have been told before in this country that those of us who don't have jobs is because we are lazy.
Yeah.
I mean, a whole president told us that in the face, that it's because we are lazy.
Yeah, and
However,
somebody also said that when we are hungry, we should go and eat kokonte.
yes, however, you know, many of the interventions that President Kufuor did, like the starch, the President's Special Initiative, so much money was invested, the starch factory collapsed, the garment industry collapsed, everything collapsed.
Poor management.
By the time they left office, so you ask, the figures that they allocated to those people in those particular, you know, companies, at the end of the day, where are those people? Those are the people today that need jobs. Those are the people that Samoa's government is providing jobs for. And so when the president talks about also protecting the interest of investors, vis-a-vis the interest of Ghanaians, it's a call in the right direction, because because you see, you cannot expand your economy by just using your internal resources. Sometimes you need inflows from outside. Then you can be able to live in a comfortable situation and expand. And expand the funds.
An impressive part of the president's statement had been the 3-tier pension scheme. To the extent that even informal people, people in the informal sector, can also contribute every month to a certain pension. So like when you are a tomato seller, you can sell your tomatoes for 20, 30 years and then contribute to the pension. So when you retire from your tomato sales, you can go back and draw on your pension. I think that is excellent.
That is one of the unprecedented we've been talking about. Listen, I feel very bad for drivers, because you know they are not on salary. I mean, they are giving some stipends at the end of the day, and by the time they are 60, 50, they lose their job, and that's the end. But today there's a hope for them. There is hope for them. They can now be able to access that kind of pension scheme and all that. There are a lot of insurance companies, insurance brokerage companies today that are also doing a lot of good things along that line.
I'm sorry we ran out.